Hello and welcome to the Mechanique Sportive channel. I'm Nicholas and today we're in the studio to show you the new Clio behind me. We're going to move forward, you'll see, we're going to discover it. This is the Clio 6 and personally, if you hadn't told me it was the Clio 6, I would never have recognized this car. Because look at it like this, could you tell me what it is? It's not easy. They still took quite a few risks apparently. They showed this car to quite a few people and everyone said they loved the look. There are several new features including a new color, absolute red. It will also be offered in absolute green, which is impressive. For example, if I come over here, I can show you this glass. There you go. So this is the green that was on the Twingo concept car, which is pretty crazy. And it's one of the two new colors. With this red, you can see the front has changed. This is a Techno version. I'll make another video with more details. I'll show you an Esprit Alpine version, since Renault Sport is gone, and it's now Esprit Alpine. For years now at Renault, the front has changed completely. I'll turn on the lights for you. Don't move. There you go. You'll see, because it's really something. A very, very atypical style, a light signature that's still brand new. So no more half diamonds. As you can see, it still kind of looks like a diamond, but it's totally different. LED signature and full LED unit on top here. So this way of carving out and making a single eye might remind you of certain brands. Right here, we have plastics that have been reworked a bit with a kind of textured finish. It's pretty nice, and some small slats. Depending on the trim, Techno, Alpine Spirit, or Evolution, we'll notice a few minor changes. Same thing with the grille. The hood is very curved. We have much sharper lines. The Clio used to be rounder, but now that's changed and so has the grille. When you look at it head on, you can see that it has a bit of style from the front. Some brands emphasize the air intake area, but here it's still just combustion engines. What you need to know with Renault is that there are fully electric models and there are hybrid ones. Now, since combustion engines are kind of over, even though they're going to offer specific engines, there will be an Eco G120 HP liquefied petroleum gas version and a 115 HP version. With a 1.2-liter engine like the Eco G, which will also be 1.2 liters but without mild hybrid technology. Here, however, we're looking at an E-Tech 160 version with the new engine, by the way, which I'll show you right away, and we'll talk about the design right after. So let's open this hood. Well, no one has opened it yet today. There it is. However, it's a little heavy. We don't have a strut. But let's not forget that the Clio is still a pretty accessible car. So here you can see on this side all the electrical parts and on this side as well. The 1.8-liter engine. The 1.8-liter engine has evolved. It used to be the 1.6-liter engine. The advantage is that it's a 4-cylinder, unlike the 1.2-liter 3-cylinder, which knocks and makes a bit of noise. This is smoother and more linear, making it much more pleasant. It was first introduced on the Dacia Bigster. Next, there's a new electric battery located under the floor in the trunk, with a capacity of 1.4 kW, whereas it used to be 1.2 kW before. So that's something we're familiar with. And basically, this engine was just made to have a longer piston stroke and to achieve better efficiency with this car. From a 3/4 front view, you see a more sloped nose and lines that tighten and lead to the grille. That also brings to mind some other, more Germanic brands. The camera, the Renault logo we know, and all the new diamonds that appeared. What is it? I think they began using it on the Esprit Alpine, but I don't recall exactly. It's a driver assistance sensor. Another cool little thing is that even from the Evolution version, we'll have adaptive cruise control. So we won't have level 2 driving from the very first entry-level model, but we will have adaptive cruise control. That's cool, since entry-level versions usually only had standard cruise control or a speed limiter. In short, things are evolving, and as we often say, features from high-end models eventually reach mainstream cars. We can see at the bottom, on the sides, the kind of, well, we had a bit of that on the Megane, but now it's come down with the new signature. And still those little logos. Diamond-shaped, a little bit everywhere on the light units. If we get a little closer, we can see that it's really raised. So you can see here it starts and it sticks out. In short, there's really been some work done on it. And no protective glass. Look, actually the protective glass is right here, directly on the lens, and that makes a difference. And a little bit of work here as well. Same thing. When it comes to textures, it goes from matte to glossy. And even when you touch it, listen, you can feel it a little bit. That's pretty cool. And the black is glossy here, the red paint. There, I don't know if you can see it well, but you can see all the sparkles. And that's actually pretty stylish. Flame red is gone, so we've switched to absolute red, which is the new change. Flame red was already beautiful. Excited to see this one since it has more magenta hints. Back then, the tones were a bit more golden in the sunlight. It gave a nice little look. Let's move on here. Let's talk about the rims, since we have two rims here. So these are real rims, aluminum rims. Entry-level models will have 16-inch wheels with 18-inch wheels on higher versions. So we can see them, and we still have some small plastic parts here that will serve as hubcaps directly on top. So we have this version here in this one, which will be more like the Esprit Alpine version. On the Esprit Alpine version, there are small blue stripes that add variety. These aren't magnesium wheels, but it's still a Clio. The good part is they're solid, and for those unfamiliar with wheels, this is what they look like. There you go. Put it back carefully, don't break it. He's among the first to put this car on its side. There are several differences on this Clio as well. I wouldn't have even recognized it, even from the side, the wheel arches like that. It reminds me of something where a designer left one brand, joined here, then moved to another brand. He did it on another car. I can't identify the car, but it really reminds me of that. The legs, though, make it look much wider. What I really like is that there are lots of little details. Even here, for example, we have small extensions that comply with regulations. In relation to the wheel sidewall, by the way, this car is 20mm wider and 7 cm longer, which really makes a difference. So I don't tell you anything wrong. I took a little picture of my notes. It now measures 4.12 meters long, 1.77 meters wide, and 1.45 meters high. As for the height, it hasn't changed. As for the weight I got, I didn't write it down here. I'll share details later. Non-hybrids have a 391-liter trunk. Others have 309 liters. I'm counting on you. Want to come inside? This car can tow 900 kilograms. Here are a few small features, plus a 1 centimeter increase in wheelbase. You won't really notice it inside since we have the same size inside the car. While I'm at it, the GPL versions will now have a 50-liter tank up from 32 liters increasing range. And the E-Tech versions like that, they claim up to 1,000 kilometers of range. In hybrid, right? And the liquefied petroleum gas version, you can go up to 1,450 combined between the gasoline tank and the liquefied petroleum gas tank. Looking forward to trying that. I really need to someday. Also, the mirrors have changed. We even have cameras here, and the one at the back has moved. I'll show you again. And that also affects the aerodynamics by channeling the airflow a little better. On the side, the windows as well, you no longer see the seals at the bottom. That's also a new feature on this car, more like premium cars. The seal is hidden behind what they call window scrapers. This allows for a different, slightly raised body, which also impacts the car. At 1.80 meters tall, it's not very high. Can't wait to show you. Inside, we have a fridge-style handle here at the front. And at the back, like the Clio, it's right here in the door. There's no seal except at the back. It's not a quarter window. Just a small plastic trim piece placed here. By the way, this version here, very triangular, is something you also don't find on the Twingo. Previously, the fuel cap was on this side. I don't know the tank volume yet, but it should be like the old one. The rear rims have the same wheel arches. From the back at a slight rear 3/4 angle, you'll notice the light clusters. I was surprised. Look at this style. Don't move, I'll go turn them on. There we go. We're doing this in one continuous shot, all the way through. So this is what it looks like. So it's nothing like what Renault used to do. Same with the Rafale, etc. We used to have longer, stretched blocks. But here it's totally different. These are two separate parts. And it's true that Renault hasn't done this in years. And I think there are almost no brands that make truly separate lights. Often, they're connected here. But here we really have two completely separate blocks. There's an Italian sports car brand with a similar design. If you add a slightly smaller one, does that sound familiar? Yes, there are a few little inspirations from quite a few brands here on this car. The E-Tech hybrid logo is also evolving. We often used to have the little E on the side, but now it's gone. What's new? Yes, several new things too. The Clio used to be more vertical here, but now it's sloped down, which also impacts aerodynamics. The spoiler is longer than before, with an extra section that completes the look. This car. And I think maybe it's missing a little bit on this car, but it will be an option. The Renault logo, it's the first time it's tilted in the wrong direction like this. Yes, that makes the difference, and it gives a sense of speed. Just like Paula, the head of design, told us. The Clio, which is now labeled with a new font as well. And where the trunk opens, it opens right here. So you just slide your fingers, hop, trunk here, so 309 liters on this hybrid version. You gain about 80 liters on the non-hybrid versions. You won't have that battery pack, which I'll show you soon since there's an engine next to it. Can I lift it up a bit underneath? There you go. We still have a tire repair kit, so with the inflator here and the little kit to fix it, just in case, something pretty simple. Underneath, you'll find the battery. Well, you know me, because I know otherwise you'll yell at me because Nico gets in here. I didn't wear my best jeans today, but oh well. 309 liters received. That being said, we'd almost be comfortable. We have a solid floor, LEDs on this side, and a place to hang shopping bags. Honestly, it's pretty good. Another thing that was requested and that people were talking about is this loading threshold. It has been lowered by 4 centimeters to make it easier to load your shopping bags, which might be a little heavy. Or for myself, to be able to get out more easily, or even to sit down for picnics. A small plastic part, which is actually pretty nice. The handle. Up there, we don't have an electric trunk. Let's not forget, it's a Clio. Clio is still meant to be very popular. We'll also look inside, as there are several interior changes to this car. Oops, I forgot to bring you over here because, yes, there are 2 cars like this. And here, there's even Laurent Schmitz. He's an amazing YouTuber. Anyway, the engine. Plus, there's a gray version here, this one in Alpine Spirit. I'll make a video about a red version. But here's what the engine looks like. I like showing you this every time. So the 1.8, the engine displacement has been revised, so here we can see the pistons. So it's turning, I have to turn with it. So we have a longer stroke. They've increased this part here. Here, you can see the pistons directly with the crankshaft, since the crankshaft isn't just a YouTube channel. That's what it is, basically. There you go, the electric block here. So yes, what they also did is that on the ITEC versions, they added an extra operating mode. With 4 gearbox gears and 2 electric motor gears, we had 14 possible combinations. They added a mode between the two. You can see that we have an engine with chain-driven timing right here. And here's what it looks like with the exhaust running through here and the battery. So, who is it? It now goes up to 1.4 kilowatt hours compared to 1.2 kilowatt hours with cooling that works with the air conditioning in case of overheating, the battery, and so on. In short, it cools more efficiently, and so on this side, you can see it, the car. I'll go back to that one. That's a little thing to cut because I totally forgot to do it. But also, what else is there? But we hadn't seen him. That's the best YouTuber in the world. Laurent was there too. I shouldn't say that about everyone. Who do you choose? Are you more on Team Kwame, Nico, or Laurent?
Which video is this for? The second, third, or fourth? I have more coming.
Are we on the second one? Today, I'm only doing 2 because sometimes I do several. We're trying to put in some effort on the channel, but it's going to be fine. Anyway, look at the gear he has. These are really the pro ones I've had for at least 3 years, but they weren't expensive. But the quality, he shoots in log and color grades, everything. Kwame is really trying. He's one of the best French channels and you love him. Let's keep going. Well, to be honest with you, look, I like to show you everything. Here, there's the thing where everyone is and there's all the press. Anyway, my thing is to copy this because I have an appointment at 7 post-meridian. I'm copying the files. Anyway, let's go. We've covered most of the lower body, but we haven't discussed it yet. Even up close, it might not be clear. The camera depends on lighting angles. Actually, in the mold, there are some small parts a little bit speckled that are right here. All right, this is what it looks like. What do you think about this? Here, and then the back seats. Come on, let's move on to the back seats. So, when I open the door looks like this. It's a Clio. The door's entirely plastic from top to bottom. We still have the window control with the automatic function. That's still a good thing. And when I go to slide inside, here we go. Nico is 1.8 meters tall. I'll adjust my headrest now. So, I don't know who adjusted this seat, but at the head level, for example, you can see that I still have a little bit of space left. We have the LED lights on the ceiling here. The ceiling light is pretty simple. I feel quite comfortable. So the door here is entirely made of plastic. We have pockets in the back. In this Techno version, there's some space under the seat since it's not at the lowest setting, but the rails remain mounted low. We have good lateral support. And there's a pretty unique texture here on the seats. On the seat and on the backrest, this is a 5-seater version. And when I squeeze into the middle here, so I think someone got carried away, wanted to sleep here. There we go. So to be honest with you, The seat isn't comfortable at all for an adult like me, but the foam is pretty well padded. However, I still have no back support. It's the same. It's a bit curved, so it doesn't really give me a good grip or anything comfortable for long trips. But you can tell they've worked a bit on the foam to make it soft enough. We have a top tether ISOFIX attachment on both rear seats. The headrests, still the same thing. And here we have a little view of the front part, which is actually quite nice. Look, if I take the camera just to show you, there you go, thanks. Look at this view at the front. It's actually pretty cool. With this lighting and everything outside, it creates a really nice, beautiful atmosphere. It reminds us of the Renault 5 with its screens and buttons. What happened with the Megane is still this pretty cool finish from Renault with Android and so on. The interior. And if I go back to the front, there you go. I don't know if you saw, but here we spent the budget. We have 2 cameramen and everything. Thanks to Renault, because it's not every day. Maybe we should hire them whenever there's a Renault. The front here is really different. We also have a plastic door panel here, so on the top and bottom there's a kind of little faux leather here, imitation leather. Then this is really the new thing on the Clio. It's this part here. Take a look at it for a moment. Green imitation crystal. So it's plastic, but with a color gradient inside. It's pretty nice, and especially the gradient. Here it blends in, with gray fading out, black, which is very nice and really changes the game. The controls here for the windows and mirrors are pretty simple. Easy to hold in your hand, and it's pretty well done. And doctor pockets? Well, I don't know if you could really fit a 1.5-liter bottle in here. Well, we'll try. During the tests, cover the trunk, a big footrest there on the side, and the steering wheel. The driving position has also evolved in this car. I can position myself very low here. If I go down, and here I almost feel like I'm in a sports car, especially if I move back a bit. Look at the position. Well, yeah, we're not in an SUV sitting like in a 4x4 or on a chair. I can sit pretty low. However, when I sit low, it feels like all of this is actually raised up quite high. I might need to raise myself a bit to see the road better. Because, for example, the legs that are placed over there right now, I can't see them from this position. If I lift myself up, hop, 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 I'm already a little bit better, and it allows me to have better visibility. The steering wheel is adjustable in depth and height. For the height, I wish it went up a bit more. The steering wheel is similar to those in electric cars. News from the group. It's a bit square with some rounded edges. It's pretty nice, you can hold it here. Or at 9 and 3 o'clock, there was a bit of music. Let's turn it off. We still have the multi-sense here to choose your driving modes. Eco, Sport, Smart. This is a new mode, I don't know it. Maybe Smart is the one you can customize. There are many new features in the Clio which really makes a difference. All climate control buttons are here. You can also see this texture, which goes from black to a gray gradient that blends into the doors. On the top, we have fairly standard plastic. There's no head-up display, and here, LED lighting in this Techno version. The glove box is at the bottom, making it simple, but you can't fit a large bottle here. There you go, and if I take it back from you directly, thank you, Clement, directly by hand here. Here's how it looks. From the driver's view, you have multi-sense buttons and scrollable menus like this. For those familiar with Renault, you're used to this. Lighting and themes that match your chosen colors. Anyway, the displays show 3.9 liters, and they told us 3.9 liters. So I don't know if they did it on purpose to drive and set it to 3.9 liters. But in any case, well done. On this side, you'll find driving aids and selectable modes. Here, you can see there, we're going to see the active assist. That's level 2 driving, adaptive cruise control, limiter, or deactivation. We're already familiar with that at Renault. We still have the little thing for the radio and the volume here, which in the end is actually pretty handy. Even though it's been there for years and years, honestly, you get used to it. This touch-sensitive screen features top shortcuts, temperature display, and physical climate controls for warmth, cooling, or ventilation. Here, I can adjust it. And most importantly, I don't need to go into a menu, for example, when I have my CarPlay to activate CarPlay, of course, with the open air link. And it's standard, of course, and works all the time. The screen is 10 inches, but on Evolution versions, it's reduced to 7 inches, removing 3 inches. 1, 2, 3, so it'll end up around here. We still don't know its exact position. Also, it will be available with a manual gearbox for the 115 horsepower versions and the 115 horsepower versions. Otherwise, it will be an efficient dual-clutch gearbox on the 115 horsepower or Eco-G, which will make the difference. Manual gearboxes are getting rarer, and I think that's good because they work well. We also have a camera here for driving aids with 29 advanced driver assistance systems in this car. The electrochromic rearview mirror has small LEDs. It's in demo mode, but you can turn them off by touching the top. Too bad there's no lighting, just a mirror, card holder, microphones, and several USB-C ports. And something new. Clement, can you show it here? It's this. So, this appeared at Jeep. It's kind of a storage or iPad cover format, so it lets you access your cup holder, hide things, and you can fold it up. It's magnetized each time. You can do it this way and have this. Another interesting thing is the parking brake, which is a bit hidden there with auto hold right next to it. In short, this car has all the options, making it well-finished, high-end, and adaptable. Renault now aims to get all these cars on the road, and the more time goes by, the more it really gives an impression of quality. On this car, all we need is a large panoramic glass roof to be at the top. I'm counting on you to share your opinion in the comments about the new Clio. Look, guys, if you go back there like that, we'll give them a little review of this car in comparison. Very simple. Anyway, I'm counting on you in the comments to tell me what you think of this new Clio. I'll make another version for you about the Esprit Alpine version. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. See you soon for another video. Ciao.